lovely is this? We're all out and about together. Should we go around the room and say a few words about ourselves? All right, you're right. It probably won't work. I'll just go. How about that? Last year, when New South Wales was about to go into lockdown, my mate from Sydney gave me a call and said, "Hey, Kirst, do you have any advice on how to get through a lockdown?" And I was like, "Mate, I'm a resident of the world's most livable lockdown. I've got so much advice on lockdowns for you." I was like, "I've got more advice than Dominic Perrottet has children." I thought, I got loads, but then I thought I don't want to overwhelm my mate, right? I thought he doesn't know what he's in for, so I thought I'll choose one pearl of wisdom to impart on him, and this is what I chose. I said, while you're in lockdown, give yourself a haircut. He was furious, I was serious, right? I said, hear me out, give yourself a haircut while you're in lockdown, because the result will be so terrible that in a few weeks' time, when lockdown's extended, you will be overjoyed. Right? It's just expectation management. Like, I've just been through exactly the same thing myself. Like, during one of our lockdowns last year, I can't remember which one. I think it was the Mayor of Easttown lockdown. It was definitely after the Tiger King one. I just hit this point where I was like, I need a haircut and I need it now, right? No reason, wasn't seeing anyone. But I was like, this ends here today. And I don't know about you, but every now and then I'll have a look at like an activity or a hobby or a career, and I'll have an overwhelming gut feeling that I am gifted in that. Like, it happens to me every time the Olympics is on. You know, I'll be channel surfing and I'll land on like a random sport and I'll have a look at it and I'll go, do you know what? I actually think that I would be pretty good at rhythmic gymnastics. Based on nothing, like can't touch my toes, but I'm like, yeah, I think I could have a pretty competitive floor routine, you know? So I had that same thing with cutting my hair. I knew that I could have a look on YouTube and find upwards of 250 years worth of free tutorials on how to cut my hair, but I did not need that. I just had the ability coursing through my veins. So my partner actually does genuinely have an innate ability for cutting her own hair, so she had the tools, so I had a peek in her little clipper bag, right? It was full of all of these attachments. I didn't recognise any of them, which in hindsight should have been a red flag. But I pressed on, I was not intimidated, so I took out what I now understand were the naked clippers, and I lined them up on the side of my head. I had a catastrophic last-second change of direction, and I just shaved a cricket pitch straight down here, right? That's my first ever cricket reference on stage, by the way. And like I said before, we were in lockdown at the time, so no one ever had an opportunity to bowl an over on it. That's my second cricket reference. Unbelievable. I didn't know I had them in me. And then I had this terrible, disastrous haircut and I couldn't work out how to fix it up, right? I was trying to, like, can I cover it over? But I couldn't work out a solution. I was absolutely stumped. That is number 3. Or as we call it in the great sport, that's a hat trick. So I've got this horrific haircut and I'm like, this is an absolute nightmare. And a couple of days later, Dan Andrews got up at the press conference and said, "Victoria, you've cooked it." I'm paraphrasing, he stretched it out. Yeah, his was around the 45-minute mark, but he essentially said, he said, "We don't like this, Victoria, you've got to stay in lockdown for another 2 weeks." Everyone else was absolutely devastated, but not me. I was like, "You little beauty! How's that?" You've been awesome. I've been Kirsty Webeck. Have a great